Chase Elliott just sounded the alarm on driver safety in a way that has everyone talking. After getting a first-hand look at photos and data from the Kyle Larson-Ryan Preece crash at Talladega, Elliott isn't mincing words. In reality, he is raising serious concerns about the future of racing as we know it. Is NASCAR taking it seriously? And what do the officials have to say about it? Want to know more? Then, stay tuned to NASCAR Zone for further details. But before we dive into that, do subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. Chase Elliott, who is the most famous driver in the sport, has never been a loudmouth in the pits. In the early stages of his career, he has chosen to let his consistent performance speak for itself. However, over the course of the past 2 seasons, the driver for Hendrick Motorsports has become more outspoken, discussing his thoughts of the next-gen car in terms of both its performance and the safety concerns it raises for the drivers. On Saturday at Dover, it was the latter, as the defending champion of the Cup Series met with the media and addressed the car's most recent issues, which arose in last weekend's violent crash at Talladega involving teammate Kyle Larson-Ryan Preece, and acknowledged that it concerned him on a multitude of levels. Chase Elliott talked up safety in 2022. Last year in September in Texas, Chase Elliott received a 2-for-1 special when he suffered 2 frequent issues with the next-gen car in its first year, including a blown tire and his car catching fire. The next weekend at Talladega, Elliott was asked about safety in the car and what the drivers were thinking with another one out due to a concussion. This happened just a few days after Alex Bowman was ruled out of the Texas race after getting a concussion from a seemingly harmless rear hit. Elliott made the following statement.
I don't feel like we should have ever been in this position to begin with to need to go forward. We should have gone forward with a new opportunity at a new car, in my opinion. I mean, you have all these years of experience and knowledge and you know, time of racing and crashing these cars and teams working on them and building them, and it just blows me away that we can have something new in 2022 that, you know, offers all this technology and all this time and experience of so many just super talented people in this sport, and we allow it to go backwards. You know, especially with safety, I just think it's just super surprising to me, you know, that we allow that to happen, but we did. And, you know, now it's just about how do we go forward from here, making sure we're making the right choices to improve what we have and keep things like, you know, what happened to Alex this week from happening, I mean, and what happened to Kurt.
At Dover, Elliott reveals that he is very concerned. During the offseason, NASCAR made changes to the rear clip of the car to make it more easily crumple under impact. In 2023, there have been no problems with rear impacts that have been recorded. While this is a step in the right direction, what happened last weekend at Talladega in the violent crash between Larson and Preece revealed that other vulnerable areas remain, specifically the passenger side door and the front of the cars. Before Sunday's race at Dover, Elliott was questioned about the terrifying accident involving Dega earlier in the day, and he didn't hide the fact that he was feeling this way.
Yeah, I mean, I think it, you know, it's not great, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you look at that thing. I haven't seen it in person. We tested Loudon this week. I wasn't at the shop on Monday, but from what I've heard and the pictures that I've seen, certainly a bit concerning on a multitude of levels. So I'm disappointed in that. Personally, you know, last year it was like, well, we're not, you know, the softer hits were a problem, but, you know, that's in preparation for a bigger hit being covered. And they, from the data that I heard, he was only doing 130. So what happens if he's doing 180 or 160? So yeah, I definitely think that's concerning, but I also think probably more of a conversation on how to move forward outside of this room, and you know, we'll get it better where we can be productive on it and not just sit here and run my mouth.
What are your thoughts on Chase Elliott's concerns about safety? Let us know in the comments section below. Be sure to hit the bell button and subscribe to our channel to get the latest updates. Now, let's take a look at the Dover crash that ended Larson's day. At Dover Motor Speedway, Kyle Larson, the defending champion of the NASCAR Cup, experienced a day he would rather forget. Just before lap 81, he was taken out by Brennan Poole, and he finished the day in 32nd place, which was a disappointment. Larson's days were made even more disheartening by the fact that he was driving one of the fastest cars on the track. In the previous week's race at Talladega, the number 5 Chevy Camaro ZL1 overcame similar challenges. During the first stage of the race, the collision that involved Larson, Poole, and the driver for Trackhouse Racing, Ross Chastain, took place. When the number 1 Chevy collided with the number 15 Rick Ware Racing competitor, Larson was driving his vehicle in the outside lane. It managed to get loose and slide into the interior of the track before eventually returning to the track and colliding with the outer wall. When Larson crashed into Poole, he was helpless to avoid the collision, and he spun out in the middle of the racetrack. While immediately responding to his spotter on the radio, Larson said,
"When we hit one, shoved us in the water, just jumped them. I did not mean to do that at all. Yeah. You all right?" "Yeah, fine. Ross, what a idiot."
Later on, Chastain went on to finish the race in second place, and he came dangerously close to claiming his first victory of 2023. Martin Truex Jr. won the race by a narrow margin of 0.505 seconds. Kyle Larson could have wrecked Chastain in the last part of the race, but he didn't. Instead, he defended hard to make Chastain work hard to pass him. Brennan Poole was competing in his first race in a NASCAR Next Gen vehicle, but an accident forced him to pull out of the race before he could even finish the first stage. During the interview that took place after the race, he expressed his extreme annoyance and stated that the move was pathetic.
"I'm not exactly sure, but I feel like I just got ran over and as soon as he ran into me, I just got shoved in the corner like way too deep, and I was turned around." So I think it was the one. Was it the one? Yeah, so, go figure. I mean, just a joke. 80-something laps into a race, no reason. I was side by side with the 3, just got to my outside. There's not like I can go anywhere or give him any more room than what I had, and he just ran me over. So I think it's just kind of pathetic, but I don't know. It seems to be something Ross does a lot recently, so just uncalled for. My first time in a new Cup car, and I 80 laps out for what? For no reason. So.
This time, NASCAR is taking it seriously. In the wake of the accident that occurred the previous week, NASCAR summoned both vehicles back to the R&D Center for a more in-depth analysis of what went wrong. Particular attention was paid to the severe damage that occurred to the passenger side of the number 5 car. In addition to that, both drivers went to talk to officials from the sanctioning organization and presented their views on the accident from their respective points of view. That's a good first step in figuring out what the problems are, which will ideally lead to their resolution and the elimination of similar problems in the future. You can expect drivers, including Elliot, to speak up and hold NASCAR accountable in the process of rectifying faults with the next-gen car that should have never happened in the first place unless and until that occurs. Watch the NASCAR Cup drivers race again next weekend at Kansas Speedway next Sunday in the Advanthel 400. The race will be broadcast live on Fox Sports on May 7, 2023 at 3:00 p.m. Eastern Time. So that is for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Tell us in the comments what you think about the video. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel to see more of our videos on NASCAR updates. Look forward to seeing you in the next video.